Oh, we're streaming on live already.
We are.
Greetings, Earthlings.
We are Johnita Francis and Trish Rock, your empowerment influencers. I've even got my script tonight.
Where's the non-fluff conversation? No fluff conversations about spirituality, freedom, and life in general. I think we cover just about everything, don't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. So thanks for joining us. We are proudly sponsored by Holistic Bliss Magazine, and I better just get the phone up so I can see comments for our live audience and everybody who's here listening on the podcast, whichever platform you are on. Thank you for subscribing and to listening in. I'll just get to the page here.
Right.
So
How's everybody coping with daylight saving? Oh my goodness. It takes me about a week to get into the swing of daylight saving. It really does. And I don't know why, but I can understand why us Queenslanders thought cows would get confused with daylight saving for so many years, because I get confused. It just throws my body clock out. It really does, which is crazy because I'm not getting up really early to go to the gym. We're still not allowed to go to the gym when we want to. Crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why I'm just so zombie in the morning and wide awake at night time. It's just, yeah.
It's madness. I remember when I was living in Canberra with the daylight savings. Yeah, it just put me off. I'm so pleased we don't have it here.
And it's crazy because it's the hottest part of the bloody year and they stretch it out, make it hotter. What were they thinking?
Yeah, that's
Madness,
right.
I tell you, madness.
All right. Hey, everybody who is here in our audience. We've got quite a few people, so that's awesome.
Lovely. All right, are we spinning the wheel, baby?
We are. We only have 2 topics left, and then on the 28th of October, we are getting dressed up. I know you love a dress up for Halloween, so stay tuned for that one. Hey, maybe everybody in our live audience needs to get dressed up too. Maybe that needs to be the deal.
I think so. We can bring them on screen and compare outfits, maybe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to go?
Let's go. Why not? It's either going to be one or the other.
It's kind of sad to only see 2 topics left.
I know.
It's kind of sad. Are we really here? Or are we living in a hologram?
Hologram. Oh, interesting.
Oh, are we really here? Oh, I don't know about you, but I'm really, nearly always, never here.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just one of the ones I picked.
Thank you.
Many moons ago. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things of personal opinion, I guess, isn't it? Because if you're in the circle of information that's talking about it, it really feels real that we're all just a hologram. If you're in the conversation outside of that, it feels real that it's not a hologram. So
yeah, a bit like the flat earthers, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it is. So what is real, and does anyone really know if it is a hologram? And I guess by hologram you could also say, it's kind of like the virtual reality games that people play. Especially if they're in that, they've got the goggles.
Yeah.
And that it feels real for them in that game.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it like that, then maybe we are.
You got your blinkers on and your reality is your perception. Your perception is your reality. So we could very well be in a hologram. How does the hologram thing stack up against the multidimensional stuff? Is it linked? Is it kind of together? Because holograms essentially can have multiple projections in different areas at the same time, and that's kind of what interdimensional or multidimensional living is all about. So I'm wondering if there's some sort of, now I've never really thought about this hologram stuff because I don't know, it's just unless you ask what the recipe for quiche is, you don't really think about it, do you? So I find that when you first pick this topic, I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to research that here 20 weeks later. No research necessary. Still none the wiser. I still haven't given it a thought. But I have secretly been looking forward to this topic because, some of the conversations that you and I have exchanged have just gone down the most amazing of research and rabbit warrens and the hologram and multi-dimensional stuff. And you're such an advocate for that. Kind of, for me, it kind of fits together because it's an opportunity to be in multiple places, and be that projected person in a different personality at the same time. So what do you reckon?
It's interesting, isn't it? If it is all a hologram, which of are all the other multi-dimensions holograms as well? And who is
Who's the leader?
Yeah, who's pushing the go button on the hologram game?
Yeah. Well, this is it.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? And then what's that movie with Jim Carrey where it's all fake? I can't even think of the movie, where his whole life was a TV show, but he didn't know.
Truman Show.
The Truman Show. So I often think about that too, and I think, what if we're all on the Truman Show?
Stop it, lady, you're going to blow my brain.
I guess one of the reasons I think about that stuff is because sometimes I just get so caught up in the human drama, and I kind of think, well, what if it's not even fucking real?
Yeah. You know what? I was having a real moment. I'm glad you said that, because I was having a moment about a week or so ago, and I actually posted something in my group, and it said, for me, it feels like, and I wasn't being, well, I kind of was being cynical, but I was actually really looking at it from a very deep angle. Is we learn all these lessons, we go through these trials, we go through these tribulations, we learn stuff, we interact, we try to better ourselves for what? No one gets out alive anyway. So if it's all predestined, it's all arranged, and we're doing it to clockwork based on what we think is perceived free will, we're doing exactly what we should be doing anyway. And I'm thinking, oh my God, when did I get so cynical? And then I thought, no, I've actually always thought about this. It's just not to the level that I was thinking about it. So it was there.
What if it is an experiment, though, of our free will, and just playing the game of, let's just put all those 20 million people together in a big game and give them free will and see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got some people that, the interpretation of power. What is power? Some people think power is I have, therefore I will give. And I feel empowered when I'm helping others. Other people see power as one-upmanship. I've got power over you, and they don't feel powerful or empowered unless they're putting someone else down. So, it really is a perception thing, isn't it? And that reality. And how I remember a man saying to me years ago in my 20s, your perception is your reality. And I'm like, well, fuck, I'm glad I don't live in your perception then, Charlie Brown. But it was but how do you even know? How do you know if you're the Truman or somebody else? Because you quite often look at some people and you think, how do you even, and it's not a judgment thing. It's trying to understand how people their life experiences have shaped their opinions and their thought patterns and their behaviors and how they got to this point in their life. So I kind of like the hologram idea.
Yeah, but it's true. I mean, whatever our perception is our reality. That is true. So
what if we're all here to remember our power because we don't actually understand fully what a powerful being is?
Maybe.
I saw a meme on Facebook the other day, and it was actually really lovely. There was a picture of one of the guys from Planet of the Apes and an alien, and they were in a loving embrace. And the catchphrase was, "We can't tell the humans yet; they don't know." And it was obviously the aliens had mated with the apes, and that's where humans came from. And I had to have a giggle because I have met many apes, and I've actually called them ape man. Really? They haven't exactly evolved from monkeys. And someone who loves primates, I think monkeys are far more superior than human beings in most ways. So I actually found I giggled for way too long over seeing that on Facebook. Funny. But blow their minds. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess if our perception is our reality, then everybody's got a different one. And that's actually it is actually very true. And then, I mean, that's really the work I do as well for people who want a different reality. I give them a new perception. So that kind of ties in there. But it's really blatantly clear at the moment with the way the world is divided,
Yeah.
of opinion, that their perception is the reality. And I just love that Donald Trump has just thrown a big spanner in the works and was cured of this incurable disease like in 2 days, and he's just out there smashing Joe Biden. We won't get into politics, but the point of that is that his reality is kind of the same as many other people's. It's just a thing and I can beat it.
Yeah.
Right. But then there are other people's perception is, oh, it's the worst thing and we'll never beat it. The whole world is going to hell. Right.
Exactly. And the only thing that separates that is the mindset.
It's just the mindset.
It's your power.
It's just a belief. It's just a belief.
Yeah. The only thing that separates is the mindset. It's like that analogy we use about being on the bus, and you look out one side and it's muddy and it's stormy and the clouds are coming over, and you look out the other side and you see how much the rain benefits the environment. You've got the pretty flowers and the bees and the birds and everything that benefits from all that mud and slush, and you can continue to look out this window or you can look out that way, and it really is your mindset and how you perceive what happens when it rains. And that's a very simplistic viewpoint on it, but it's exactly the same thing. It's our mindset.
It is. And so if that's true, how does that tie into holograms? So if what we perceive is reality, does that shift does that shift the external hologram that we're creating?
Well,
by the way, I've had just as an aside, I've had some really beautiful feedback from some people that listen to the podcast saying they always learn something amazing every week, and thank you for the podcast. So thank you guys for pushing us to these conversations. Because we press go and there's no turning back. We
can't say, oh, technical difficulties.
Bye, I'm busy.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I kind of quantum physics would teach us about atoms and about placement of atoms and how that solidifies or appears to be solidified. So there is kind of mathematical scientific viewpoint that this could definitely be a hologram based on quantum physics alone, and that very basic quantum physics. So but as someone who astral travels, and you can flip between here and there in the astral plane, and there's several astral planes. Okay, most of us, if you can't access one, you generally go to the level one. If you think about a shopping center, and it's got nothing to do with hierarchy or chain of command or awareness or anything like that. It's just that most of us are too frightened to venture any further. That's all it is. And it can also have a big impact on a vessel as well if we're away from it for too long. So kind of thinking about astral travel where your soul comes out of your vessel, so you're no longer solidified or have the appearance of a solid mass, and you become an energy form instead, then you essentially are a hologram. So we are spirit living in a human existence. So there is probably a little bit of thinking around the fact that we could definitely be a hologram, because there are solid masses with the hologram program as well, like in the virtual reality that you were describing. That's the blinking approach to what's going on, but everything else is solid around you. So I'm kind of liking the idea of the hologram. In 20 years' time, when I replay this podcast, I think, oh my God, well, you're a fucking crack. But for now, it kind of fits in, because I've seen the spirit world do some absolutely amazing things. And and that's basically a hologram, because that's a hologram. You can see straight through that person, that object. And when I see spirit, it is like you're standing in front of me, but you're transparent. So that is exactly what a hologram is. So I've got to go and research this. I'll be right back. See you in 3 days.
I guess the good thing about the conversation is that it just allows everybody who's listening to have a think, and it when you have some different ideas about things and try to perceive things in different ways, it allows you to step out of oh, there goes the guard dog again. It allows you to just step out of any shit or drama that you're involved in and just kind of go take a step back and go, what if it's not real? Why am I wasting my emotions on that if it's not even real?
Yeah.
It just allows you to really step out of it. And actually, I feel it allows you to be more in charge of your life
Yep.
rather than letting life control you.
Yeah, become a director of your or a producer of your movie as opposed to a supporting actor, which a lot of
Yeah,
people are walking around in supporting acting roles in their own lives.
yeah, that's it. They really are.
Why, why, why,
And
why
why?
would you? Says she, who did for a number of years. But why would you? Once you've got that key and you realize that you've got the director chair and you get that power, and
That's
is
it.
healthy power, you'd be nuts not to play
Mm.
with your own advancement. And that's exactly what it is. Even though I was being a little bit cynical earlier, but it, you know,
Well, it kind of
why
takes you back to that childhood curiosity, doesn't it? Everything,
it does.
all of these roads lead you back to that time when you're two and you thought you could be Superwoman or Superman, or why can't I jump off that building? I've got a cape.
I
Yeah.
did. Off a two-story building with a tea towel. You know those checkered tea towels?
Oh, yeah.
It was a red one, so red makes you go faster. And I tied it up around my neck, and I jumped off. I can't even remember the name of the street, but it was in Woodridge in Brisbane, and it was right before my grandfather died, so about 1986. And I actually jumped off the roof, and I landed on my feet, and I was fine. No brakes, nothing, because I could actually legitimately fly. So there was no thought in my brain that I was going to die or I was going to hurt myself. I was just going to fly. Okay, I did fly straight towards the ground, which wasn't in the game plan, but the consequence or the risk of me dying never entered my mind.
No, and it doesn't when we're a kid. Things
No,
like that, it just doesn't enter. Criticism, judgment, what's everyone going to think of me? Who do I have to be? All that other shit doesn't enter your mind when you're 2 or 3. You just go ahead and do it. And so I guess all of these concepts just give us that opening to get back to that state of mind where, well, what if none of it's fucking real and I can just do what I want?
exactly. Do
why
as
am
you
I
will.
why am I stressed?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's so interesting, isn't it? It's really interesting.
and every now and again I experience glitches, and I'm pretty sure you do as well. And it's in those moments where something glitches, like when the film glitches, and I think, oh yeah, we're all in the Truman Show. It's all just a hologram.
Yeah.
So I don't know what those glitches are. Do you know what those glitches are?
Not really, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And when
Yeah.
you started talking about the glitches, I thought kind of like not the same thing, but it reminds me of something similar about deja vu. And I thought for a long time that deja vu was another me somewhere else experiencing the same thing at the same time from an emotional level, because it has to be in spirit form. So all that human bullshit, all the trauma and drama that the humans have, it's separate from that. So I thought that deja vu was another version of me somewhere else in the world that was experiencing the same thing at the same time. And that's why it felt like, oh, I've done this before. And I don't think I was incorrect in some ways, but since I've met Terry, who is without a doubt my twin flame, I've never had deja vu again. And I would have it at least once a week previously. And more so leading up to me meeting him, I had it all the time, very, very frequently. So that's really interesting. So I'm wondering if it has something to do with that. And similarly, the glitches, would be, like a reset button perhaps, or, like a little upset in the matrix maybe. So there's certainly been documented glitches, that people have caught on camera, which is just amazing. I love that shit. I could watch it for hours.
Yeah, well, it does happen. It does. It just does. And you feel like it's reset. You feel like everything just stops for a second, resets and starts again. You go, oh, what was that?
Yeah. I remember when I was, I'm going to say 15 years of age. And I had already been head over heels in love with my first boyfriend for 5 years. We were a boyfriend and girlfriend before we realised what boyfriend and girlfriend meant. But when I was 15 and he was 16, he'd lived in Victoria for a little while, and he came back and I had boobs, not very big boobs. They've never grown since. However, I digress. And we were sitting at my grandma's table, and he was sitting on this side of me, which is my left-hand side for all those who can't see me indicating with my hand. And we were playing Old Maid, which is a card game. And all of a sudden it felt like someone in the world had pressed the pause button, and we were not holding hands. My hand was flat on the table, and it felt like someone pressed the pause button. And then when they pressed the play button again, my first boyfriend and I were holding hands. Now, I know for a fact that if he is watching right now, he will remember this, because we both looked at each other like there was no awkwardness about whose hand was reaching for who first. There was none of that jittery nerves when you first go to hold someone's hand that you like. Nothing. We were not holding hands. And in the next nanosecond, all of a sudden, we had been holding hands for a long time. And the heat between us was insane. I still remember it so clearly. So that was definitely a glitch in the system. I'd like to smack the person fair in the mouth for creating that glitch, because I had that bloody little shithead in my life for another 10 years after that. Was a lot of crap I didn't need to go through. However, it was a massive glitch. It would never leave me, because it was, I already had a lot of paranormal activity anyway, and a lot of interactions with the spirit world. I'd never seen anything like that, though, from a human aspect, and it was cool, but really something that will etch in my brain for the rest of my life. I could seriously have really late stage dementia and still remember that. It was amazing. Crazy stuff.
Well, holograms work like that sometimes too, because you just all of a sudden skip ahead a certain amount of time, and there you are.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? I love it. I love these topics. I really want, and I think in series 2 we need to really tackle these weirder ones, because who better to crack the weirder ones than the weirdest people of all, really.
I think some of the real weird ones we could probably research too, so we could kind of throw some facts out there too, not just our stuff. Although, who's to say other people's stuff is facts and ours isn't, right?
Exactly. Well, this is it, and we're all on a journey. So sometimes we create things like that as well. Like if you talk yourself into being frightened of the dentist, you'll always be frightened of the dentist. I'm frightened of the bill after the dentist. The dentist never bother me. But it's the mindset around things, isn't it? So definitely need some really wacky topics. So any listeners have got something really taboo that they want us to cover, let us know for sure.
Definitely. So we've got a couple of people who have Halloween outfits. So we might have to... if we use the Be Live platform instead of the Zoom platform, if we use yours, then we can invite people on, and we can see your outfits.
Mine will be the most terrifying, of course. It'll certainly be the most terrifying for me.
Well, as soon as I bought those little props the other day, or those little spiders, all of a sudden actual live spiders have started to show up all over my house. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what kind of hologram I'm creating there, but there's a pile of plastic ones, and there was a big mother the other day. It was, what do they say about fish? It was this big. So I don't know what's happened there. Maybe I've manifested it by having.
Have you looked up the spiritual meaning of spiders? I always have to look up these things. I don't retain the information.
Yeah, spiders are a good luck. So but what happens when I kill it? Is it still good luck, or am I killing my good luck? I'm certainly not going to have that, especially that big. Some of the small ones I keep alive, but that big mother that was glaring at me from the corner, I'm like, yeah, no.
He's putting his little fist up. Come at me, lady.
Well, it did. Actually, yeah, it was on the bathroom wall, and then I sprayed it, and it would not die. And I'm like, fuck you, you're not gonna. I got to get some sleep here. So I put something over it. I put a jug over it so it couldn't escape, and it was climbing up. And I'm like, oh my god, it's gonna. I was dreams about this spider getting me all night. And I swear, even when it was dead, I kept the cover over it for 2 days. I swear, even when it was dead, it was still moving that jug. I swear it. And anyway, it it's going to come back and haunt me. That's my little.
I was going to say, I wonder if someone in the spirit world is going, she just killed her millions again. I swear this lady doesn't want to win the lotto.
Oh my god. So that's obviously a little scary hologram I'm playing out right now with spiders.
You should go and get some plastic money.
Yeah. Oh, Joe's just said, no, don't kill spiders, I'll take it outside for you. Yeah, too late, Joe. There was no way I was staying in my house for the night. I wasn't going to catch it. It was massive.
We've got jars where and we always have something flat, so a piece of paper, a cardboard, whatever, and I will always pick them up and take them outside. Terry, being English, is not keen on the creeper crawlies, but he would never harm one. Like, he's just not like that. So
I do.
Yeah,
sorry.
I know. I pick them up.
I'm a murderer.
Yeah, murderer.
A murderer.
Maybe just a hologram. You're the murderer. Maybe that's the part that you play.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what the daylight savings has now done to us on screen. I'm getting darker and darker, and
I'm in the dark.
You've got your light shining the way there.
Yeah, I stuck it up my nose the other day to see how it would go, and it actually did a really good job. My whole entire nostril was bright green. It was fantastic. And then I realized, oh my god, my inner child is really 12. And then I thought, oh, no fucks given. So I tried it again.
Yeah, well, that'll just prove you're a hologram because you see right through it.
Exactly right. Exactly. So yeah. No.
Oh, well, I hope you guys will all join us next week. It's our final topic, and then the one after that, we'll play dress-ups, and we might choose a couple of people to come on screen. So be ready with something, just in case.
Now, our last topic is emotional blockages.
Okay.
So it'll be a really interesting topic. So if you're interested in emotional blockages, and we don't normally do this, but obviously we can't spin the wheel next week. We can, but there's only one thing there.
Well, we can just for the fun of it.
I'll put it on there 100 times now so we can spin 100 things. But if you're interested or know someone that might want to come along and have a listen, learn a little bit about emotional blockages, what that looks like, what is it, how it manifests for each individual person. Remember that we are all complex beings and we have different experiences, which means we process things differently. Please put the word out for us. We will love you forever. And I think we're just about done. We're done.
I think so. That was interesting, and probably more information that either of us thought would come out of our humble little mouths.
I had no idea. I like hologram. But, you know, it's interesting how much knowledge you actually do have. And we could probably put the challenge out there, because a lot of the time our first go-to mechanism is to say no or to shy away from a challenge instead of doing what we did. And, you know, we kind of had semi-control because we did pick the topic at the beginning of the year or the beginning of the session, but we still gave it over and we still challenged ourselves to come out of our comfort zones and just get up here and do it. And it's been a really rewarding experience for me. I've absolutely loved every minute of it. So thank you, Trish.
Oh, and you know, just so everybody knows, our minds do start off blank at the beginning of the episode. They truly
we got
do.
no freaking idea. No.
The topic comes up and we're like, oh shit.
And then I go, damn you, Trish. And she looks at my eyeballs like, with this one of mine, with this one of mine. But it's been fun.
But it's interesting, isn't it? And you know, I kind of feel that's everybody's got the capability of accessing those Akash records or that inner knowledge or that, you know, universal knowledge. It's all there, and we can do it, or we can just make it up.
Yeah. What's a hologram? So who cares?
Well, we make it all up anyway. So why not just make it up? Right? If it sounds and feels good, then it's true for you. That's exactly my philosophy.
Walk your truth. All right, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you very much to our sponsor, Holistic Bliss Magazine, who has supported our work right from our very second episode. Yeah. So thank you very much for doing that.
Absolutely. And you can subscribe to us at Buzzsprout, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and
Overcast.
Amazon. And where?
Overcast? No, Overcast.
Overcast.
That's the new one we learned about. Trish talked about that the other day.
Yeah. Amazon Music. And yeah, thanks everybody for subscribing. Yeah, Overcast has got, what was it, 10% of our subscribers at Overcast.
Yeah, that's amazing. So if you're listening on Overcast, say g'day. Feel free to join in on our live audience every Wednesday night at 6:30. And yeah, thank you very much for your support.
Awesome. And thanks everybody in our live audience. Thanks about the spiders. I may call you Joe if there's one here again, but not if it's just before I go to bed. They're not welcome in my house, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Maybe when Mr. Trish comes along, he can be the spider savior, and I can, not worry about it. And so let's put that out there, Mr. Trish, you got to be a spider saver.
Yeah, don't worry about anything else. Just bring the jar and the gonad so you can move the spiders outside.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Bye for now.